Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tech for Senior Live. I'm Ron Brown. Liquid glass. What's liquid glass, Huey? This would be cool to have some liquid glass. I wonder how we get liquid glass. And also, you're muted.
I'd be afraid of drinking it.
Liquid glass, yeah.
Make a glass out of myself.
And Android 16. Guess who has Android 16 downloaded on their Pixel 8 Pro?
Yeah, you're always ahead of the game.
Yeah. So guess what we're going to be talking about today? Well, welcome everybody. Of course, this is Tech for Senior Live, and this is, what date is it? It's June the 12th. And this is a show about tech news, and we're going to be talking about, for the next hour, all the tech news of the week. And we want to thank everyone for coming and joining us for this great hour. And we have a good group today, and I'll be introducing everyone in just a second. But you're probably wondering, who are these crazy seniors that are here? Well, we, of course, come from our Monday show. This is our Thursday show. Our Monday show's on Monday. And guess what? We've been doing it for 6 years now. And we were up to, 280 shows now that we've done. So if you haven't come by on Monday, it's a lot of fun. And people seem to like it. We still do it, eh, Huey?
Yeah.
It is.
We thought we were only going to do it for a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. But
in 6 years later, right? Anyway, drop by if you haven't come to our Monday show. Do that. Also, just to remind everybody, we're going on holidays in July. Yes, indeed. So we're going to be we're going to be doing all the broadcasts for June, and then we'll be back on August the 7th. And oh my gosh, we'll have to go through all the news of July. That'll be a big chore. Anyway, we're taking the month of July off.
We're still
the Monday show is still going to be going on. Yeah, Monday show is still going to be going on. So let me introduce everybody. Of course, I'm sure that you know Huey Popluck from Bradenton, Florida. That's I'm from Comox, British Columbia, which is a little island off the west coast of Canada. And of course, Huey's over on the other side of the world, down in Florida. And you are a long way away. Do I have to shout, or can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. You bounce off of Tampa and then come down to here.
Exactly. And also on the other side of Canada, we've got Mike Lehman from Moncton, New Brunswick. Mike, of course, is our music director on our Monday show. And he is a great guy, and he's a techie guy, and he's the techie guys, because he built radio stations, set them up, and got all the electronics working in them. So he knows about microphones and hardware and software and all sorts of stuff, right, Mike?
Oh, I've got a pretty broad background.
Exactly.
My back is a little bit broad as well.
So yeah. So anyway, so
I was just going to
go ahead.
I was just going to say the same thing about my background, my backside, but no, let's not go there.
That's all right. Huey, do we have anybody listening to us today?
Yeah, we got quite a few online, but only a few have messaged us through the chat or the message center. And let's take a look.
James Martis says 80 degrees Fahrenheit, lightly overcast here in Cookeville, Tennessee. Good morning. Dick Vogel, 86 degrees and cloudy in Central Florida. James Martis, will miss the Monday show due to a scheduled cardioversion. Heart stuck at 113 beats per minute for 2 weeks. Tried medication. We talked all about that last week. I did a video about that. Jim Talman, 85 degrees in Venice, Florida.
That's all who have left a little message for us.
Yeah, because I guess, if you are listening, we do not see you or don't know who's out there. It's not quite like our Monday show, which is a Zoom meeting. So the only way we know is if you put something in the chat and we can say hello to you. And for sure, if you're new here, we sure like to meet you and say hello and so on and so forth.
And have an idea who's out there.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's lonely here in the broadcast booth, but we like to talk anyway. We'd probably get together and talk about the news once a week anyway. So why not, right? Well, the big news this week, of course, was, first of all, the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference. Lots of really cool stuff. Let's talk a little bit about that first. And I'm going to bring the first slide up. And this is sort of a summary of what we're going to go over today. We're going to talk a little bit about what liquid glass is, and also the new naming system for iOS. Apple Intelligence powers AI everywhere. Core upgrades to messages, phone, camera apps. There's a new game app that's going to control all the games. Smarter battery accessibility. New device support and hardware requirements. And of course, the ongoing Siri still in progress story. So we're going to talk about those. Those are some of the features that came out of the new Worldwide Developer Conference for Apple. So what is liquid glass? So this is sort of cool. If you saw the video that Apple did, and if you watch some of the live demonstrations, it's sort of really cool. They introduced a sweeping redesign. So there's a big redesign of the software, redesigning iOS, iPad OS, Mac OS, Watch OS, all the OSs under the new unified term liquid glass, which is a design language, making Apple's most significant and aesthetic update since iOS 7. Now, it emphasizes dynamic translucency and sort of gives you almost a 3D visualization. And it supports new UI guidelines. So there's a lot of things that the developers can add to this. And some concerns have been raised about the readability in bright conditions, because it is very bright in implementation. And also, it's going to be a lot more difficult for smaller developers to be able to make this all work. But if you watch it, I don't know if you saw that demo, but you can the actual icons actually move up and down and they look 3D. It's almost like a whack-a-mole, you're playing. It's sort of cool, but it's pretty impressive. So anyway,
what I'm not seeing is how far back in versions of their hardware will this work on?
Good question.
I've not seen anything about that.
That's
so
true.
Does that mean that because this is also new, that it's only going to work on the new hardware? or the newest hardware, maybe one version back.
You mean that they might want you to buy all new equipment? Do you think Apple would
that
do
could,
that?
it sounds like Windows all over again.
Exactly. Let's have a look. Rebranding again. We've talked about this last week. Apple simplified its versioning, so now they're all going to be the same. So because all the different devices had different versions of iOS running. Now now iOS uses the year number so what you would have been iOS 19 is now iOS 26.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons they're doing that is once the numbers start hitting 20, you don't know whether it's the year 20 or the number 20, and so which version is the latest and so on. So I would imagine that had a lot to do with it too.
I still haven't figured out the Windows versioning. You explain it to me every so often, and I forget. But it's so complicated. I don't think Microsoft really knows either.
It's almost as good as ChatGPT.
Yeah, right. So let's see. Did we do? Let me see. We did. Yeah, we did that one. App enhancements and UI tweaks. Messages, custom chat backgrounds, polls, typing indicators, Apple Crash group payments, and smarter unknown sender filtering. The phone smarter call screening and a hold assist feature that detects cue prompts and holds. That's something that has been around in Android for a while now, but that's sort of cool. Camera photos, revamped camera layout. Photos reverts to tabs, library collections, and supports spatial 3D effects. Safari cleaner edge-to-edge browsing, map tracks common routes, offer delay alerts, and adds visited places. Apple Music lyrics translation, pronunciation guides, auto mix, and wallet enriched boarding passes with terminal maps and real-time updates. US users can store digital passports. And let's see.
The phone app that gains call screening to filter unknown calls, hold assist to wait on hold automatically, and then live translation for real-time voice translation during calls, I think is a real big item. Messages now support group chat polls, custom backgrounds, typing indicators, Apple Cache and groups, and message screenings for unknown senders, and live text translation. So there's going to be a lot of translation in messages, in phone calls, and also in FaceTime. You're going to be able to talk to somebody in a different language, and it's going to translate for you live.
Mm-hmm. Now, this was interesting. Introduced a new games app. This is going to be one app that's going to control all the games on your phone. So you'll find they'll all be in one app, which is sort of interesting. And there's the battery settings, accessibility, adaptive power mode, auto tunes performance and brightness to improve battery settings. Now show daily battery uses comparisons, and also making strides in accessibility, new narration tools, Braille support, advanced live listening, background sounds, and personal voice options.
Is it true that they're putting Braille support in some of the new cars?
Don't know. I'd hope you'd be a passenger. I'd hope you'd be a passenger. Yeah.
That's the joke I'm trying to tell.
And then, of course, unlike other systems, Siri received no major overhaul this year. Poor Siri.
And that's what they're getting the most kickback on. That their AI is just not there yet.
Not there yet.
And their AI is called Apple Intelligence, and it's apparently not as smart as they wanted it to be.
They didn't really talk much about it. Really
no, because it's not there. It's a year or two away anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so that was all the stuff that came out of the Apple this week. There's probably a little bit more, but there's a bunch of articles we're going to go to today. But the new one, the other one that came out, of course, was Android 16, and this is so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the Android 16, of course, we're going to talk about, these are the things we're going to talk about Android 16. And so the launch date, the stable version was released June the 10th, 2 days ago. And the roll of first available on my Pixel 8 got it right away, with Samsung, OnePlus, Xiaomi, Nothing, and others following later. So that's the rollout. Now, the thing that everyone needs to understand about the rollout is that there's 2 phases of Android 16. There's the first phase, which I have, but then which is more of a material design change, and then there'll be much bigger back-end change coming in another 2 months. I suspect just before the Pixel 10's released. I think that's what we're going to see. Now, this is sort of interesting. Live notifications provides real-time progress tracking, food delivery, ride sharing, right in the notification bar or screen. So it's sort of cool because in the demo they showed, so you order a pizza and you're looking at the pizza app and you see the car driving to your house with the pizza, right? But you have to keep going back and looking at the app to see it. With live notifications, it's going to give you a progress bar across the top, and you'll just track it. You'll just be able to track the driver as he drives along, and it will do all that for you. So I thought that's sort of cool. Supports interactive actions like tipping or calling directly from the notifications. Initially exclusive to select apps and devices, expanding across different brands. Smarter notification management automatically groups notifications by app to reduce clutter. Introduces notification cooldown to temporarily reduce alert noise during bursts. I'm not sure what that is, but anyway.
I don't either.
I don't know. Camera, night mode improvements, automatic scene detection with hybrid auto exposure for better low light captures, supports Ultra HDR, embedded photo picker, connects apps seamlessly with Google Photos and cloud selections. Maybe Chris will have something to say on that. Adds LE support for hearing aids, allows mic selection and volume control via phone. Enhancements in call quality, and supports Auracast audio sharing. Now, what was interesting, Huey, when I connected my earbuds last night, when I was my Pixel earbuds, right as soon as I connected them, on the screen, the main screen, it showed left and right Pixel Bud and how much charge was in there, and it stayed on the screen, so it was right there to see it as long as they're in. Like it sort of was right. That's new, and that was sort of cool. Now this is a big one. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but this is the advanced security protection they've been talking about. This is the advanced protection mode, and we'll go into that in a bit, but this is a biggie. And centralized safety interface includes scam protection, malware detection, USB port blocking, and factory reset protection. Now, if you do download Android 16, the thing I thought was interesting about this was it's not automatically turned on. You have to go into the security setting and turn this on, and then it's a reset of your, not a reset, but a reboot of your phone, and it will be turned on. So this is quite an advanced feature, and I would encourage you to do that. And it's but it's not automatically turned on, which I thought was interesting. Multitasking, desktop style windows, enabling multi-window and external display use. This is what Drew was talking about on last week, and we are going to be able to do. You're going to be able to connect your phone to your phone to your monitor, and automatically this is going to allow you all sorts of cool stuff in your phone. You'll be able to run it on a monitor, and it'll be just like a
of course, UI stands for user interface for those that don't recall.
Right. Health Connect. We talked about Health Connect. This is going to be expanded. This is an app that's on your phone called Health Connect, and it will collect and allow different apps to connect and store all your records. So if you have multiple apps doing different things, it will form a repository by connecting the apps together and allowing all your information to be stored in one location, and strengthened privacy sandbox to limit tracking through anonymized local processing. And this is Linux, introduces a Linux terminal via virtualization framework. Drew also talked a bit about this last week for those Linux users. Now, the major free security enhancements in Android 16, as I said, the advanced protection mode available to all users. This previously was reserved for high-risk individuals. This is a paid service that you paid, oh gee, I don't know what it was. I think it was maybe a couple of $100 a year to get this, and it was only available for on request. Now it's available as you can turn that on in Android 16. And this involves USB port data transfer lockdown. So if you went to an airport and you were plugging, you shouldn't do this, but you plugged your computer in or your phone into a USB charging port that was a community port, it wouldn't allow anybody to upload stuff into your phone. Offline and weak network protection, AI-driven scam and malware defense, and just let's have a look here. And intrusion logging for post-attack forensics, and HTTPS only browsing, and tightened Wi-Fi controls. So this all occurs as part of this advanced security package. And I said this is a biggie, and it's pretty powerful, and it now is free if you turn it on in Android 16. I have mine turned on. Haven't noticed anything. Didn't slow my machine down or anything like that. So I think it's a good thing, and I would encourage you to turn it on. But we'll obviously be hearing a lot more about that as we move forward. But this has been around for a while. It's just it used to be a paid service, so you're getting it for free now. So I think it's good. And that's I guess we should probably. Are there any more comments? Where did we lose Mike?
Let's see. It looked like it.
Ed Weiss, 87 degrees and sunny in central New Jersey. Hi, Ed. Deb Shannon, hi, guys. 88 feels like 94 in Dunedin, Florida. Hot. That's getting hot. Liz Milford, hi, from Ohio. Sunny and 79. Steve Parker, Mike, Sugar Pixel is on its way. Ordered it yesterday. Thanks. Steve Parker, I let them know I heard about Sugar Pixel on Tech for Senior. Thank you.
Thanks for doing that. Okay.
Excellent.
Let's get to the news.
Let's get to the news, Huey.
And I'm up first.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah, I added a bunch this morning.
Oh, you sneak.
Yep. I started editing, the article says, I started editing all my PDF files with this free self-hosted tool, and I'm not going back. I may try this because I do pay for a PDF editor program, and this looks like it'll do everything for free that I pay for. So
what's it called? What's it called, Huey?
You would ask that.
Well, I can go and look it up.
Yeah, Sterling PDF.
Sterling, okay. If ever anyone uses Sterling PDF out there, put it in the chat and let us know if it's what you think of it.
Yeah, I just saw this morning, and I am going to try it. The next one, Samsung's refrigerator now recognizes family members by voice. Well, that's scary. Samsung's fridge now recognizes family members by voice, so they can pull up your calendar, show off your photos, and so on, just by your voice. It'll know it's you.
Oh, so it doesn't you can't lock it out if you're under if you don't want your kids getting drinks or pop and certain times of the day. It doesn't lock the door on the fridge.
Yeah, or your husband or your wife.
Yeah, right. You need the password.
You're on a diet. You can't open that refrigerator. Right. I thought this was interesting. The U.S. traffic control still runs on Windows 95 and floppy disks. And a lot of the satellites are still using Windows 95 as well. So a lot of our big government systems were never updated since then.
Can you imagine air traffic control using Windows 95? Didn't that crash all the time, Huey? Wasn't the Windows 95 the one that crashed all?
As long as the planes don't, we're all right.
Yeah.
7 ways AI written articles and essays are detected. Now, this isn't using AI to do it. This is telling you how to read an article and be able with your own mind how to figure out, gee, that was written with AI or not written with AI. And they give you several suggestions on what to look for and how to do it. There are some apps out there that will tell you that. And there's also some apps that will bypass those apps so that it appears to be human written rather than AI, even though it was written by AI. So it's getting to be quite the industry. The Alto is a future power e-bike that can accommodate 2 passengers. It doesn't look like it from the pictures I saw, but apparently it says it does. It's a future forward e-bike that can accommodate 2 passengers. But what it does, it has a very easily removable battery. So you can take the battery out, take it inside and charge it inside your home or so you don't have to run some kind of an extension cord to the unit. The other thing about it is when you turn it off, you can lock it. So it would be very difficult for someone to move it. And so it's a safety from theft, which I thought was unique. But it's also about $3,500 US.
You're seeing a lot more of these devices. At least we see a lot more in our community, particularly in the summer now, going around. So that's pretty exciting.
And this is an article. I'll probably cover it in one of my WinSigs. The 9 most annoying Windows 11 features and how to fix them in minutes. So I'll probably discuss that. That'll be included with the items that I discuss at the WinSig for July.
I know how to solve that problem. It's called an iPad. It's called an iPad.
Yeah. Or switch to Linux. Yeah. eSIM versus local SIM, how to choose when traveling. So those of you who do a lot of traveling and you're not sure, this article will explain and help you decide what you should be using.
Yeah, that's a good one, because certainly we used to always talk about buying a local SIM and using it, but it's a problem now with 2-factor authentication and getting into your bank, because you don't get your notifications sent to your. So a lot of phones now have an eSIM and a actual physical SIM slot, so you can switch between the two.
Ron, this is you.
Yes. Who would not want? Oh, just a minute. Which one? I didn't see that one. Okay.
This is $23 billion.
20. That's a lot of money, Huey. 20. So Zuck's going to spend $23 billion actually, and this is to do with advanced AI. And I guess one of the problems that was, but a few articles this week, a lot of his senior AI people have left, and he now is heading up this new super AI task force, but nobody wants to work with them, and he can't fill the jobs. And Huey, you should apply, because you're pretty AI knowledgeable. he's paying 6 figures to join.
I'll have the application in the mail today.
But not many are taking him up on it. So anyway, interesting article, but hard to get people to work now.
Yeah. Before we go to the next one, ChatGPT is also doing an awful lot of research and putting together groups of people for some of the advanced AI stuff that people are afraid of.
Now, this was an interesting menstrual tracking. Who would not want a good menstrual tracker? Well, so this is actually interesting because there's a lot of these now being produced, and the problem is harvesting your personal data. Now, this is an article that looked at a number of these apps, of which there are plenty. But when you sign up for these apps, there's a lot of personal information that they tend to want to glean from you, knowing your age, height, weight, a lot of personal stuff that they're going to be wanting from you and as part of the advantages, of course, they track your menstrual cycles and can offer certain discussions about certain problems you may be having. But the big problem with most of these apps is the harvesting of the personal data, because people are just total confidence and trust in these apps, and they put and I think this goes to all apps, Huey, is they just keep going and going, and they keep taking your personal information, and you got to be really careful with that.
Yep, especially something like this where it's a lot of real personal.
Well, it's healthcare. It's healthcare stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's not at your doctor's office, and so you don't quite have your same guard up. You think, oh, it's just a menstrual cycle app to help me, but then when you get into what you're putting in a lot of very confidential information. Apple updated parental control to require kids to get permission to text new numbers. So part of what we didn't talk about in the new version of iOS is the new parental controls that will be instituted, and there's a lot more ways which you can limit what your kids are going to be doing. And of course, I have 2 grandchildren in Adelaide, and that's a discussion I have with my daughter all the time. They're all Apple people and have Apple. They've all got iPhones, and so it's interesting. It's a good discussion when you're talking to moms and parents and how they're going to deal with this. So I think it's probably a good thing. See how it works out.
There's also a lot of other discussions going on. I noticed today that Macron in France has said if the EU doesn't do it, he's going to have France outlaw social media for people 15 years old and younger. So so kids can't use any social media. And then in some other articles I've read, some other things that they're trying to make so it's harder for kids to use the software or the social media. And then, of course, a lot of schools now are outlawing the use of phones during the day only for emergency purposes. I'm not sure how they're controlling it, whether they're collecting them and then having them somewhere safe. So if there's an emergency in the school, the kids can still get to them and get to their parents. But it's getting we're trying to protect the kids more and more with social media and with phones, but it's difficult to control. Different parents have different levels of what they want their kids to do and not do.
There was an article, I didn't post it, but it was Canada. In Canada now, pretty much all the provinces have recommendations to the school districts that no phones in classrooms, and it's been there for a year, and so they just did a post review of that, and it was pretty well accepted, and all, like, it was a positive report that there weren't a lot of problems, and it seemed to have a positive twist to the whole thing. So interesting. So it was a review of that had been for a year now.
Yeah, the biggest item that it's against that is the fact that because of so many school shootings and that sort of thing, that they want the kids to be able to have access to their phones in an emergency situation.
Right. Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier before the show started. This was interesting. Opera, which of course is a browser, has just unveils Neon, which is a new browser built around AI agents. So from what my take of that is that if you put a query in the browser, it uses the AI agents to find the answer rather than just connecting to a Google search. So I thought it was sort of a cool idea. It's called Neon. It's called Neon. Did you hear about that, Huey? Did you talk about it?
I've heard about it, and you know what? I haven't looked at it, and I think it's something I want to.
If you're out there and you've used it, can you put something in the chat and let us know? I have not done that either, so I don't know. I don't know, but it sounded pretty interesting.
We both put this up.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask everybody. I pay. So first of all, I'm a big Amazon Prime movie watcher. It just happens that all the stuff we tend to watch in the evening tends to be Amazon Prime, off our Amazon Prime, not so much Netflix. And that's just based on the selection we've made. But and I pay the $3 a month to avoid ads, and I'm going to have to watch more carefully, but I really haven't noticed any significant ads on Prime, but that's probably because I'm paying the $3 a month. So I wondered if people aren't, are the ads annoying? Because this came out saying Amazon Prime reportedly doubles the number of ads per hour. I'm just curious what everyone's finding out. Put something in the chat and let us know. Do you pay do you watch Prime, Huey? Do you?
I do watch Prime, but I don't pay the fee for no ads. But I have noticed ads in everything, including some of the streaming news services, CNN and Fox and so on. If you watch them, if they're making any money, they got a lot of ads because that's how they get their revenue, and especially Fox. Some of their programs towards the end, about 10 minutes till the hour, it'll have a whole bunch of ads. Then they'll come back for one short couple of minutes, and then they go back out to ads again. And then they come back with about 1 minute of a wrap up, and that's the end of the show. So they're really throwing a lot of ads towards the end, and they're doing a lot of ads right in a row while they're doing a break. So yeah. If they can get the ads, they're getting them and putting them out there because that's where their money is.
Well, what have you noticed in Prime? What's your take on Prime? Have you noticed more ads lately when you're watching Prime?
I haven't, but I haven't watched a lot of Prime lately.
Okay. Well, if you're out there and listening, if you've noticed anything, put it in the chat and we'll discuss it. I don't know. I just don't know. But anyway, I thought it was interesting.
Quartz is a guide to the new global economy. You put this up, Ron. What is it?
Oh, I can't see it. Can you just click on that? Just open it up. I can't remember what it's not about. That's not yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier, Huey. The real threat to Google isn't the DOJ, it's ChatGPT. So this is an interesting story. That's why I put it on there. Okay. So the story is the judge is trying to decide. This is the Google search Department of Justice lawsuit against not lawsuit, but trial with Google search. And of course they've lost, and the judge is sitting there trying to decide, should we break Google up? How are we going to decide what we're going to do about this problem? And so he's sitting there thinking about this, but as they presented more information coming in so he can make his decision, it became obvious that the problem may be solved already, because the amount of search in Google is going down dramatically as people all are converting to ChatGPT search and are using ChatGPT, even though Gemini is part of the Google search. It still isn't stopping people from switching over, and they're all using ChatGPT as a search rather than Google. So the comment of this was the judge is considering whether he really needs to break up Google anyway, because it's already happening. So I thought that was an interesting take on what's happening.
So it was a monopoly, and now it may not be because they're losing.
That's right.
Just by
That's right.
time and changes in the technology, it's the need to break them up is lessened.
Right. Well, also there's no ads in ChatGPT. So if you
Yeah.
use ChatGPT, there's no ads, right? So so it is a big deal.
Brave is the best web browser, and nothing can convince me otherwise, is the name of the article, not my title. But Brave is the best web browser. So you have Opera now to look at, and you have Brave to look at. Now, I used Brave as my default browser for quite a while, and then I was having some issues with it. I stopped using it. I haven't used it in a long time. Maybe I ought to go back and take a look at it. 4 essential Microsoft Word settings. This person always changes right away on a new install. So I'm going to take a look at that. That's something we'll probably discuss also at the WinSig. The master of the art of AI prompt writing and get perfect responses every time. What this is it's from Geeky Gadgets, and this is a tool for prompting. And prompting is a structured discipline. Effective prompting relies on frameworks like first principle thinking and so on. So it's just a way of prompting. But one of the things I've been doing lately, and I've been telling people to do, is ask ChatGPT or whatever chatbot you use, give me a prompt that I can use to do such and such, and let it write the prompt and then put the prompt in. So it'll be much more encompassing, and then something that you might want to put together, or you would try to put together. The ChatGPT or other prompt will do a much better job of giving you the right thing to ask to get what you want.
And that's exactly what, Huey, that's exactly what I was going to say as well. It's hard sometimes, you can say, well, I want to do this or this. Can you write me a whatever? But I'm more and more, I'm just saying, hey, I want to do this. Can you write me a prompt, or what would be the best prompt? And it'll tell you. And then if you can either edit it and also save it. You can even save the prompt and then use it again. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'd encourage people, like you say, to use that.
And sometimes I see an image and I really like the way the image is drawn,
Right.
and the characters in it and so on. What I'll say is I'll upload that image and I'll say, I would like something similar to this type of result using these words. Watch Tech for Senior Live on Thursdays, and then have it write or create the image using my text, using a very similar
well, you can even ask it. You could even ask it and say, what would be a prompt to make that image, right?
Yep.
And they'll tell you. So I think it's pretty cool. So I'm not so sure, when you look at mastering the art of AI prompts, I know how to master it. I'm an expert. I just ask ChatGPT to make it.
Right? AI to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The dark side of AI: are we racing towards a future we don't want? And if not everything about AI is positive, and you do need to read or follow some of the articles that are either against or talk about some of the negatives of AI, so you can look at it and have a good idea of both sides of the question and where we're headed. Just don't block out the bad stuff. The Samsung Z Flip 7 is coming, and this is a leak of it. I know Ray has got the earlier version of the Flip, and he just loves it. And they're improving the camera enough that I may consider a Flip 7 as my next phone. It opens up to a big, but it also has a small screen. So while it's small, you can look at it and then open it up and it'll be a regular size phone. And Android 16 is out. So you have talked about that. And Meta launches a Surreal AI video editor. And what it does, you can do things and then tell it what you want it to look like, and it'll change your clothes. It'll do all kinds of things in the way you're moving. So it's got a lot of extras in there. So you might want to take a look at that. And this is the Prime Video. You already talked about that. And this is yours, Ron.
Is this
Nintendo Switch 2?
Oh, okay. I'm not seeing that. Okay, on mine. Okay, and Nintendo Switch 2. Of course, this is the big announcement. Of course, was Nintendo Switch 2 set a record sale in 4 days. I can't remember how many millions and millions of copies they sold, but as I've said, and we've talked a bit about the Switch 2, every child in the world wants one. So we're seniors, so we're not sort of in tune to that, but for as far as grandparents go, this is where you want to be, but they're very hard to get because they are virtually sold out. And
I saw a picture. It reminded me back in the Windows 95 days when people lined up. It was going to be released at midnight, and people would line up outside the stores to be able to be one of the first ones to get a copy of it. And they did that the same thing with the Nintendo Switch 2. They were lined up in the store when it opened up to sell them. There was lines to get in.
Well, yeah, and you could pre-order them, but then you had to have had the original Switch, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you had to go through to get it. It was sort of interesting. Listen, let's do the comments now because we're getting into our last 15 minutes now. Let's see if we got any more people talking to us. Sally Ann, hi. Sally, heat wave is diminishing. Kirkland, Washington. JJ, from cooler 67 degrees today after 95 yesterday in Waukegan, Illinois. Diane says, haha, I don't want my refrigerator talking to me. Steve Parker, Windows ME was the major crash version. And just think, major ME was, okay, not Windows 95, right?
That was the Millennium Edition.
I forgot about that. I had forgotten about that. It wasn't around very long. Kirkland, Washington, 55 degrees and overcast. Betty says, hi from Clearwater, 89 degrees. That's hot. Monsignor Mike, late to the party this morning. Greetings to all from St. Louis. Overcast skies, muggy, and 78 degrees. Diane says, I don't mind the ads on Amazon. That is when I don't mind the ads on Amazon. That is when I go do things. Yeah, I guess.
And as we get older and are true seniors, we certainly have to take breaks.
But I don't know, Diane, let me ask you, do you think there's more ads coming? Have you noticed any difference? I'm just wondering if people are noticing more ads because they're going to double a number of ads on there. It could be a pain.
Okay, next article is also yours. iPad 26 finally makes the iPad into a touchscreen Mac.
Big changes, and I've said this all along, and I will still say this, Huey. When we get to, I made a video about it actually. Windows, of course. Windows 10 is leaving us in October, and people are going to have to make some big decisions. And I still think if you have an iPhone, which half the people in the United States all have, same in Canada, even higher in Canada, they all have iPhones. And it is a great relationship between an iPad and an iPhone work perfectly together. And the changes they're making in the iPad is going to really make it like it does all the things a PC would do. It's a great option. So you should consider that before charging off and doing a Windows 11 thing.
I have a 9th generation iPad, which I love. I use it a lot. And I do have the cell access as well as Wi-Fi, which I like, because if I can't get Wi-Fi somewhere or I don't have access to Wi-Fi, I still have access to the internet. But I'm wondering now with this iPad OS 26, whether my iPad's going to support it or not. So we'll have to see. Ron?
Yes, and iOS 26, Apple Wallet will let you track all your packages. So if you have all your orders, you can track it right through the app. And it's so smart, Huey. It's Apple will tell you when your iPhone camera lens needs to be cleaned.
I think that's neat.
I think that's a good practical thing.
I absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Take all those finger marks off the back of it, right?
This is more of the same type of thing.
Almost the future of computing. Apple just turned the iPad into a Mac. Yep. Same article. Android 16 is out. So if you have a Pixel phone, I don't know how far it goes back, but I know that my Pixel 8 and I'm sure Gail's Pixel 9 has the Android 16. You can download it right now, and I would encourage you to do it. You're not going to notice a whole bunch different. There's a lot of things behind the scene that are there. The big material, it's sort of a material change, but the big engine change that's going to occur won't be available for another couple of months. And I think that's probably going to be just before the Pixel 10 gets released in August.
Yeah, I have a Samsung, and they're always several months later after an Android version update comes. They have to make all of the changes they have so it works on their phones. So sometimes it can be up to a year after the update to the Android operating system before they get it.
And Apple's Liquid Glass is Windows Vista done well. What do you think of that, Steve? Is that right? Steve's the expert on different versions of Windows, but it says Apple. Oh, did I jump ahead?
Yeah,
Apple
Liquid. There's actually one before that. Nintendo Switch 2 smashes records as company's fastest selling console.
That's right. Yeah.
Now the Liquid Glass.
Yeah. So Liquid Glass is Windows Vista done well. So I don't know what Steve thinks about that. He's the expert on all the different versions of Windows.
Roku releases. This is yours.
Yeah, this is cool. Remember we talked about Roku TVs before. Roku releases 2025 lineup of smart TVs. So if you are considering a new TV, have a look at the Roku lineup. And they just released a whole lineup, and it's an option for you, and see what you think.
And Roku is not a brand of TVs. It's a brand that features the Roku TV. So it may be an ON, it may be what are some of the other brands, the TCL and so on. Many of the different brands have different types of TVs. They have a Roku TV, a Google TV, and so on. So this is talking about the Roku version of that.
Remember, Roku is the operating system in the TV.
Yep.
So we have Google TV, which is an operating system, Roku, and we have different operating systems of the TVs. And they've got a new design. This is Roku's new design, new homepage design. So they're changing their design. Although they all basic, I went around and I do have an Amazon TV and we have a Roku TV, a TCL Roku, and I thought, gee, but I go back and forth between the TVs all the time. And I thought I better look and see if there's really much difference. And there really isn't. It's sort of, they're all the same. They all work about the same.
The remotes have buttons in different places, though. And when I'm on my Roku TV in the bedroom, I'll hit a button and it's in a different place than the one that's in the living room. And all of a sudden I've abandoned what I was looking at instead of changing something.
My Amazon TV and my TCL Roku TV, the remotes look almost the same. So that's good. It works the same. So that's great. So it's pretty close.
Two things. One, on my Roku TV in the bedroom, I have the remote on my bed, and sometimes it falls off and it gets lost somewhere in the room, and I don't know where it is. So that happened to me, and I could not find it for weeks. So what I did is, when I first realized I couldn't find it, I went ahead and ordered a replacement from Amazon, which was not expensive. I think it was $10, maybe $15. And so I got a replacement. And then about a month later, I found it. So now I have two remotes, one by the bed and one by my seat by the computer. So I now can change the channels and turn the volume down when I'm on the computer. And then in the living room, the one, I sit at my little tray table and I watch TV and I eat. Well, when I'm changing channels, it got sticky and it stopped working well. I had to push the buttons hard, or a button didn't work. So I went ahead and just put in the model of in the battery area, it gives you the model of the remote. I just put that in. Amazon came right up with it, and I ordered a replacement and got rid of the old one. So
is it difficult pairing them? Is it difficult pairing the new
no,
one?
there is no, it's the actual one for that TV. So it came in so I didn't have to do anything but put the batteries in it, and it was ready to go.
Oh, cool.
So if you're having serious problems and you've changed out the batteries, the first thing you want to do is change the batteries, and you're still having a problem, then just get a replacement.
So if you are thinking of an iPad as a replacement, this was a good article. Hang on, did iPad just become a computer? It's a good article. It really, really is pretty cool. And again, the reason being is it just works so well with your iPhone. CarPlay. Hold on. Yes, iOS CarPlay. Yes. There are CarPlay we didn't talk about CarPlay, but CarPlay has a whole bunch of new features with iOS 26. So there's a redesign on this. So if you so that's coming as well. So there'll be big changes in CarPlay.
Yeah, windowing, menu bar, and pointer comes to the iPad OS. The menu bar goes at the top, and you can do different things that are right on the screen instead of looking for a menu and so on. I thought it was very powerful. And then it's going to have a pointer, which will be unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
And Android 16, you mentioned that. And if you like Macs, here are 5 other services you might like. So these are movie services. And this one's mine. And this pretty much catches us up. The tiny tech that silences the buzz. You've seen it, but never knew what it was, saving your electronics. I think it was our Monday show, was it? Or was it just in our discussions that Mike Lehman explained what that was? But this is an article that you might want to take a look at to give you an idea of what that is and what it does.
Yeah, now it's too bad Mike isn't here, because I had a problem with my microphone a couple of weeks ago, and I had a cord exactly like this, right? It was exactly the same cord. And Mike said to me, he says, you should, it's probably the cord, the trouble I was having. He said, you should get a new cord. And he said, don't worry about that little, that's an radio frequency. It cleans it up or protects it against external stuff. But he said, for what you're doing, you'd never have a problem with it. And so I bought a new cord and plugged it in, and I've never looked back. But so my old cord had that on it, but the new one doesn't, and I don't notice any difference. So interesting.
Perplexity received 780 million queries last month. And they're heading towards a billion. And so Perplexity is one of the top AI chat bots. ChatGPT is, Gemini is, Claude is, and they all have different features that make them unique but similar. And so I have been threatening to put together a presentation on that, but it keeps changing so quickly. I get something done, and then I've got to go back and redo the whole thing. So hopefully I can get that done.
So I haven't used Perplexity a lot. If you did a search, like a Google search on Perplexity versus a Google search on ChatGPT, do you compare the two? What's your feelings between?
Yeah, sometimes I use Perplexity to do something. If I don't like the result from ChatGPT, or it doesn't just hit me just right, I'll try it in Perplexity just to see what they come up with. And a lot of times Perplexity will do a better job for me.
Okay.
And then other times ChatGPT does, and then other times Claude does. So I think one of them, and I can't remember whether it's Claude or Perplexity, is better for coders, but I don't do any coding, so that doesn't matter. And by coding, I mean that they write code to create programs or apps. And scientists develop plastic that dissolves in seawater within hours. So it might solve some of the problems we have with so much plastic in the oceans. So we'll have to see if not only have they develop it, now are they going to be able to use it to do certain things. So we'll have to see. But
I think Huey, it's top of the hour. Top of the hour. We're going to have to cut it off there, and we're going to maybe. Are there any final comments?
Yeah, there is. Let's see. We left off with this. We did do this one.
I don't mind Amazon ads. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but then she followed up with a couple of
I haven't noticed more, but maybe I take longer to do things. I will watch for ads and report back to you. Thanks, Dan. And on Amazon Prime Video, there is a VIX gratis subscription. I assume it means free, as it says 000. It asked me to subscribe for a certain movie on Amazon Prime.
I have no idea what it is.
I have no idea. Don't know.
I'm going to have to ask ChatGPT.
That'd be a good one.
Okay.
Is that it? We're finished.
That's it. We're done for the day. We're right on the hour.
All right. Well, listen, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us today for an hour. Hopefully, we've provided some information for you. We will be, of course, back next week. We'll be doing these all June. But remember, we will be taking July. This show will be taking July off, and we'll be back on August the 7th. So we've got a couple more episodes. Bill James will be here next week. And then, of course, Ray Baxter will be here for the final show of June, and then we'll be off on July.
Yeah, and you've got family visiting you, but I don't have anything coming up in July, so I may just do it by myself to myself.
Yeah. You're going to be doing most of the Monday shows as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to be working on the Monday shows.
You're going to be busy guy. So anyway.
Yeah, that and some other things. So
yeah, so we'll keep you busy in July. All right, everyone. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place. And if you want to drop by on Monday and say hello and see us and talk to us, that would be great on our Monday show. Otherwise, we'll see you in about a week. All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye
everybody.
now.